Welcome to Strange Talk with Doc. Hope everything is going good with you, and I hope everything is going good with yours. Before we get to the normal, regular portion of the show, I just want to talk about something real brief. Be strongest when you're at your weakness. Be strongest when you're at your weakest. And be most humble when you're at your strongest. It's real simple. Key words here is humble, strong, weak, kind, fair. Don't be a braggart. Be smart. Be wise and use wise and good judgments. When we are weakest, that's when we need the most strength in our faith, our belief systems, our goals, our integrity. This is when you have to buckle in and buckle up. When you are at your absolute strongest, say you're the wealthiest person in the room. You should be the kindest person in the room. Say you're the smartest person in the room. You should be given knowledge in that room. You don't have to come down on people because you have power. True power is kindness. True power is bringing people up to your level, not putting your foot on their necks. And there's going to be times in our lives when we are going to be really weak, physically, emotional, spiritually, financially weak. That's when we have to grasp, like I said, onto something that gives us strength. Even just hope is strength. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give in. Don't ever say it's over. It's not over till it's over. There's always a chance if you believe in something greater than yourself. And see, believing in something greater than yourself will give you wisdom. It will give you kindness. It will allow you to be fair to other people when even though things don't seem fair to you. People make it through dreaded diseases. People bounce back from homelessness. People bounce back from addiction. People bounce back from circumstances and situations that they were born into because something inside them. And not to say that some people don't make it and they become the worst of the strong and the worst of the weak. And the worst of the weak are those who cry about their situations day in, day out, where it's almost unbearable to be about around them. And those with the most strength lord it over other people. They dominate people because they don't feel anything inside. So they use their power, they use their money, they use their even physical strength to bully and get their way. And there's nothing right about any of that. So do the best that you can to be the strongest that you can when you at your weakest and to be the most humble that you can possibly be at your strongest. And life will be a blessing to you and you will be a blessing to other people because eyes are always watching. You're always being seen, even when you don't think anybody's watching. And that's all I really wanted to say about that subject. So there was a shooting at a Mississippi club called Oasis. One young lady died who we find out was underage. She was only 20. They should have checked the ID. They might have saved her life. 12 other people were injured. This is to the point where I don't know if they don't care because of the club. I don't know if it's because the media feels worn out and these wasn't little kids or some synagogue or something like that. But there has not been a lot of media attention on this case. And I find that kind of sad. But once again, we got a mass shooting in America. Nobody seems to care about other people's lives. If there was somebody that they was targeted, did 13 people have to be shot? If you're targeting one person, I think it's cowardism to just randomly shoot into a place where people were going out to enjoy themselves for the evening. So we lost some people this week. We lost one of the Four Horsemen original members, Ole Anderson. He died at the age of 81. From a lot of things that I read about Ole came off to me as a racist. So I don't say really rest in peace. I'm just letting you know that he passed away. And Michael Virgil Jones died at the age of 61. He ran around with the $1 million man and the $1 million belt. He was like his valet. I met Virgil at Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York on the 4th of July. Me and my wife was walking on the boardwalk and he was up there with the $1 million belt. I didn't really bother him, but we did sit down and have maybe a 5 minute conversation. I tried to keep it to real life and not wrestling, but I did ask him about some things. He was very cordial. He was very nice. At this time, he was still a very big dude. Uh, so I say, rest in peace, Virgil. You gave a lot of people a lot of joy with your, the wrestling bit. Richard Lewis passed away. You know him as one of those neurotic comics. He was on Curb Your Enthusiasm at the end of his life. He died at the age of 76. I believe he was also on a TV show with Jamie Lee Curtis at one point. You know him. He always wore the black. He had the pompadour type hairdo. Was Richard Lewis my kind of comedian? No, but I did know who he was. He used to come on Howard Stern back in the days a lot. So I say rest in peace. And it was a really bad week for wrestling because now you had your third wrestler, Paul the Butcher for Shard, died at the age of 86. He got to live a long life. A lot of people know the Rashad family. You had you had him, you had Mad Dog, you had an aunt, and you had I'm sorry right now, her name is skipping me. You had the young crazy chick that was with the vampire at WWE, WCW, and other Luna Vachon. So she was a member of that family, a kayfabe member of that family. I believe she was adopted into that family. But like I said, the butcher died at the age of 86. They were mostly AWA. We didn't get a lot of AWA in New York, but I used to read about them in the magazines all the time. I didn't really get to see them wrestle, but this was a name that transcend territories. So if you were a wrestling fan back in those times, you knew exactly who him and his brother were. An ESPN journalist and NFL reporter Chris Mortensen died at the age of 72 years old. I enjoyed Chris Mortensen. He was old school, what you would call for ESPN right now, because he actually treated a job as though he was a journalist. He wasn't one of these salacious like dudes like SAS is right now, like Shannon Sharpe is right now. This was like real reporting with names attached, times, dates, and he put his reputation on the line. When he stated something, you could believe in what he was talking about. It made it feel like he was doing the news, but in a sports sense. And that's when I really thought and had a lot of respect for ESPN. Unlike today, where it's just a clickbait channel that tries to just get you know, subscribers on Twitter, X, and they say a lot of clickbait stuff. They troll themselves, they troll the sporting world, and the more that people like Chris Mortensen's pass away, the less responsibility they will have to their viewing audience. I believe they have little to no respect for their viewing audience with their topics. They will talk about anything. They'll talk about who's dating who and who's wearing what. I mean, stuff that has absolutely positively nothing to do with sports. So it was another bad week for P. Diddy. This time he's accused of sexually assault and harassing a male who filed a $30 million lawsuit. You know what? Sean Combs, P. Diddy. I'm not going to talk about any of this type of stuff because I'm not privy to it. But his name shouldn't keep coming up in things like this. You want to leave a legacy of positivity on this planet. You're over 50 years old. At some point, the parties need to die. They all come with this negativity floating around it. If he did it, then he should suffer. If he didn't do it, he should clear his name. But this is very early in 2024, and he's already come up against stuff like this more than one time. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, You do what you can to protect your name if you want to protect your name, if you have a reason to protect your name. But you don't go out of your way to make your name mud, because this country will turn on you, this world will turn on you in a heartbeat, and then you'll be known less for what the music and the entertainment that you gave the world, and more for these controversial things. And he has children. His children have to deal with this. But you know what? Sometimes our children have to take the blunt of the things that we do. And it's not fortunate, it's very unfortunate, but it's reality. So Donald Trump was stripped from the Illinois Republican primary ballots. A judge ordered him to be disqualified over the January 6 riots, making it the third state to ban the former president. But here's the problem. Yesterday's Supreme Court, in a 9-0 verdict, stated that he couldn't be kept off the ballot in Colorado. So this Illinois ballot is not going to happen. He's going to probably be on every ballot. He is going to be the GOP nominee in November for the president of the United States. And that scares me that Republicans around the country are not doing the right thing. Republicans around the country are following him lock, stock, and barrel, even though he's got all these court cases, even though he is proven to be a shyster, even though he is proven that he might not even remotely love America. And it's a shame. It's a damn shame. It's a dangerous thing that we're involved in. It's a dangerous place that we're heading as a country, because what happens after November 4th or 5th? What do we do then? When he loses again, he's going to claim it was stolen again. And these people are going to be more riled up than they were 4 years ago. And these 4 years have passed pretty damn quick, I must say, that we are now at the looking at the finish line of this thing, because this will be it. There will be no running for president again for him, and at the age of 82. This is a now or forever type thing for Donald Trump. Will he use his power if he was reelected to exact revenge on people? I think he would. Now we have Shannon Sharpe and another one. He's running around. He had a bad week on X. He exited a car looking very suspect. I've been saying for quite a while that I don't particularly believe that Shannon Sharpe is a heterosexual man, 100% heterosexual man, but that's just my vibe. That's my feelings on the gentleman. Is it any of my business? No, it's none of my business. So I won't go into it. I won't call him out of his name, but he just seems suspect. I think I'm not a big fan of Shannon Sharpe, the talker. Shannon Sharpe, the football player, was phenomenal. He's a Hall of Famer. He deserved to be a Hall of Famer. He's a three-time Super Bowl champion. On that field, he busted. He was the dude. He's one of the greatest tight ends who ever played the sport. You know what? I feel bad that people who are in the public eye have to go through what they have to go through. But there are a lot of famous people who stay away from the Twitters. There are a lot of famous people who stay away from the Instagram. There are a lot of famous people who stay away from the Facebooks. They don't get involved because they don't really want that kind of feedback. And I know that he's hugely popular with his Shay Shay and First Take on ESPN. But you know what, Shannon? If it causes you more pain, if it causes your family more pain, for you to be in the public eye on social media, back up social media and just work on your career. And nobody would ever look down on you for that. You can cut that off unless it's like that. I talked last week. It's that serotonin, it's that addiction, it's that dopamine that you get when people talk, like, and subscribe. And if that's the deal, you're going to have to take the positive with the negative. And unfortunately, right now, this week has been a lot of joking on you. There's been a lot of people coming down on you, a lot of people speaking on things they have no idea of, including myself, by saying I don't believe that you're heterosexual 100%. but that's just an opinion. I won't go anywhere and try to dog you out about it because it's your life. I don't have to live it. So Paul Heyman, who used to be Poorly Dangerously, will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024. This is well deserved. He's the creator. Well, not, I'm not going to give him full credit, but he was the owner of ECW after it was Eastern Championship Wrestling. He had that group of lunatics who still, even though that federation died years ago, they remain in the public eyes. We think of them. We know who the wrestlers are. And as they get older and pass away, we will honor them. And a lot of it has to do with Paul. Paul has been great with the bloodline. He has been a great addition to the WWE. I say congratulations to Paul Heyman. He's one of quite a few people who will be inducted in this class, and it makes sense that they're doing this in Philadelphia, which was the home of ECW. I'd be very interested to see if any other ECW types make it into this class with him. WrestleMania is soon approaching, so they're going to have to drop these names on us like quick, fast, in a hurry. So we figuring it's at least going to be three or four more, five more people, but he should be the lead of this class. So Brett Reed, he's the son of the Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. He had his sentence commuted 15 months after he was convicted of a DUI crash that severely injured a 5-year-old girl. Her name was Ariel Young, and she was left in a coma with serious brain injuries. Andy Reid better not bring this man back to his coaching staff. Let this guy, he's your son. I'm sure you love him. Uh, I'm sure that you probably pulled a card to get half his sentence cut off, to get him released. Let him now just stay at home and do what he has to do to make sure he never gets behind the wheel of a car drinking again, because I don't think this was Brett's first time or Brett's first time. Dude served less than half of his sentence, and now he remains at home on house arrest. You know what? When you got power, you get to do things. When you have power, you get people to do things for you, and that's what happened here. Andy Reid, I don't care what this governor said of Kansas City. No, everybody doesn't just serve half their sentence. Some people serve every day of their sentence. And when you severely hurt a 5-year-old who hasn't even started off life, she's minding her business, getting wherever her parents are taking her, whoever was driving that day from point A to point B. She's not drunk behind the wheel of a car. You're a grown up. You're a coach of a championship football team. You guide young men's careers and you can't guide yourself? Hmm. So Caitlin Clark is now the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history. She broke Pistol Pete Maverick's 54-year-old record. That means Caitlin Clark is the male and female all-time scorer in the history of college basketball, and she is sitting at 3,685 points and counting. She might have a couple of more games left to add on to that. She had a senior year she could have came back with. She declined. She's going to go to the WNBA, where she probably is going to make less money than she does on her NILs right now. But congratulations. Put it to this way, this game was so big that even me and my wife sat down and watched her play Ohio State. I thought it was an interesting game. I thought she was a little nervous in the beginning. She was making history, so I could understand it. Did she hit some banging 3 pointers? Yes, she did. She was passing the ball a lot in the beginning. Ohio State played a great and phonetic style of basketball. I look forward to the women's March Madness coming up soon. I'm going to actually keep my eye out on Ohio State. I'm going to keep my eye out on Iowa. I'm going to keep my eye out on South Carolina and LSU. I'm going to watch this just like I watched the guys. I think this will be great. So we had the NBA, oh no, the NFL combines because we are in free agent season. Was I too big on the combines this year? No, it's just the days are too long. I mean, some of them are like 7 hours. I don't want to just see people running. And sure, some people are going to do some fantastic runs. Some people are going to do some great leaps. Some people are going to do some great bench presses. And some quarterbacks are going to make some throws. And then you're going to have controversy like Caleb Williams not wanting to do the physical, which I don't think he should have to do for every team. When a team says that we have interest and we're going to draft you, give them your physical and move on from there. There's going to be a lot of NFL agent signings and cuts and retirements coming up, but let's talk about a few. Russell Wilson is going to be released by the Denver Broncos. This was a failure to begin with. Sean Payton did nothing but disrespect this man. Russell allowed this disrespect. It's time for Russell to put his hand up. There are a few jobs out there, and he could put his hat in the bag and say, one of you teams are looking for some veteran leadership for maybe a year or two, I'm your man. You know, Atlanta's still out there. Las Vegas Raiders are still out there. Get a job while you can. The Chiefs placed non-exclusive franchise tag on their cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, which makes sense. I would have tried to sign Sneed to a long-term deal. He's young. He's really good. He helps them out a lot on defense. Uh, these 1 year deals for a team to save money, Kansas City is notoriously cheap. This might come back to bite him in the ass next year. I don't know. But like I said, I would have signed Snead to a several-year contract. Jason Kelsey from the Philadelphia Eagles has officially retired. Jason has had a hell of an all season. He's been running around like a big frat boy. It's time for Jason at 36 years old to act like that dude he acted like all these other years. Go home, be a father to your children, be a husband to your wife. Take the beer out of your hand in every picture we see, put back on the shirt, and be that elder statesman. There's jobs waiting for you, but you got to show some kind of style and class, Jason. You didn't win the Super Bowl this year, but you ran around as though you were on a 3 week party spree, like you had lost your mind. And you know what? Grow up. This is what we expected out of Gronk, and we didn't even get this out of Gronk. We got it out of somebody we didn't expect it out of, which was Jason Kelsey. We thought that he was this cool, level headed dude, and he showed us the opposite. I hope it was just a show that he was putting on to put his name out there. And now that it's over, he can go back to being who he was all the other years of his NFL career. The cornerback, I mean, the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, re signed Mike Evans, wide receiver, and they agreed on a 2 year, $52 million deal. Tampa Bay could not afford to let him go. I would have liked to see where he would have landed if he would have went somewhere where he could have been the number one or a 1A on another team that was going to compete for a Super Bowl. But since he's staying with the Bucks, I'm thinking the Bucks are also going to sign Baker Mayfield. So you got him, Godwin. They have a good running back. They always have a good defense in Tampa. So Tampa, who only went 9-8 but did win a playoff game, should be back in the hunt to win the NFC South again this year if they bring back their pieces. So congratulations to Mike Evans, who's would have been a great addition to almost any football team in the league. I mean, Mike Evans is that dude for real. This weekend we have a UFC card coming up. We got Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera 2. Sean O'Malley now has the belt. Let's see if Vieira can take this belt back from Sugar Shane or Sugar Sean. Sean, let's see if him having the belt was a good thing, that he kept his dedication and his focus, or did he party and have too much fun? So we shall see. But I actually have Marlon Vera actually winning back the belt, and maybe they could do this 3 times. We'll see how this goes. Dustin Poirier is taking on Benoit Saint Denis. Uh, Saint Denis is a very good fighter. Everybody knows Dustin Poirier is a very good fighter, so that should be a good battle. Kevin Holland is taking on Michael Page. Gilbert Burns is taking on Jack Della Mandalina. Peter Yar is taking on Yandong Song. Curtis Blades is taking on Jelton Almeida. Caitlin Kukogen is taking on Macy Barber, who we haven't seen in a while. I want to see how Big Head Barber does. Pedro Munoz is taking on Kyla Phillips. Michael Pierre is taking on Michael Olasacek. Philip Lenz is taking on Ian Cupilara. CJ Varega is taking on Ashu Alababe. So this should be a loaded card. This should be maybe on paper the best card so far of 2024 for the UFC, which I think has been on a real downhill slide all year. Like Dana only cares about UFC 300, so he's trying to hold everything for that. And too many people are not. I don't know what's going on with their star power. I think too many of these fights are coming from the Apex Center and not from the live audiences. And you need live audiences. I mean, they give energy. This is a fighting game. Fight. Would you watch boxing in a room full of six people and that was it? Or do you like the roar of the crowd? The roar of the crowd makes a big difference. And I'm hoping that UFC 299, because after this, he's leading up to 300. The 299 is a stellar card. I hope it's everything is supposed to be, and we shall see. We'll discuss this next week. We'll actually discuss it on Monday, uh, uh 3/11, 2024. We'll break down what happened on this card. So LeBron James became the first player in the NBA history and the only player to score 40,000 points. Congratulations to LeBron. This dude has had a long career. For the most part, he stayed healthy. He missed games here or there. He never was a huge scorer, but when you put down 27 a night for 21 years, you get these type of numbers. So once again, congratulations to LeBron. I like to go through what I would call the games of the week, and they would be today Boston versus the Cavaliers, the Hawks versus the Knicks. The Knicks might be without Jalen Brunson, who I believe twisted his knee or ankle the other day. You got my San Antonio Spurs taking on the Houston Rockets. Wemby has been balling out. He's been doing some fantastic things. He's the leader for the rookie of the year, no doubt about it. You got the Cavs taking on the Mavs. You got the Suns taking on the world champion Nuggets. Wednesday, you got Milwaukee taking on Golden State. Golden State is coming off of losing a game to the Boston Celtics by 52 points. Golden State's got to be able to come out there and show some heart, some class, some character, some championship wherewithal. If not, I don't know what to say. You got the Kings taking on the Lakers. Thursday, you got the Timberwolves taking on the Pacers. The Heat taking on the Mavs. You got the Raptors taking on the Suns. And in a battle that highly anticipated, you got the Celtics taking on the Nuggets. And you got my Spurs then going up against the Sacramento Kings. Friday, you got the Timberwolves taking on the Cavs. The Heat taking on the surprising OKC team, which I believe is the number one team in the West. You got the Bucks taking on the Lakers, so you got LeBron going up against Giannis. Saturday, you got the Celtics versus the Suns. You got the San Antonio Spurs and Wemby going up against Golden State Warriors and Curry. You got the Jazz taking on the Nuggets. Sunday, you got the Bucks going up against the Clippers. You also have the Pelicans with Zion Williams going up against Trae Young and Atlanta Hawks. You got the Nets taking on the Cavs, and you got the Timberwolves taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Remember, please, Be your strongest when you're at your weakest, and be most humble when you're at your strongest. You don't show strength by powering, lording, and dominating other people because you are the strongest in the room. And I already had stated at the beginning, the strongest in the room could mean that you're the smartest, you're the most financially well off, you're the most physically dominant, and you don't have to lord people over with these things. You can be kind to them. You can be smart. You can use judgment. You don't have to brag. You do not show weakness by showing kindness. You can be strong yet humble. You can be giving. You can be a friend to the friendless. And when you're at your weakness, that's when you reach deepest into your bag to find some strength in something that you might not know exists. It might be your faith. It might be your goals. It might be, I have to make it through this. You might be struggling with something. You could be struggling with an addiction that you want to get rid of, and that is making you weakest. You might want to give up smoking. You might need to lose 40 pounds. You're feeling weak. You're not feeling yourself, but you have to dig and find something that gives you strength even in your weakness so that you can maintain your dignity, so you can maintain your pride, so that you can maintain your focus. Now, I appreciate you for listening in. I always appreciate shares, likes, comments if it's something that you want to do. If it's not organic and you feel any way, shape, or form that I begged you for it or that I'm forcing you to do it, no, I am not. Only if you feel like. If you don't, I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you didn't, you can always hit me and tell me where you thought I was dead wrong, but you thought I was off base about, and I will listen. I won't argue with you. I don't fight with people on social media. I don't fight with people about how they feel about me because how you feel about me and what you say about me is not my business. It's not my business to protect myself from your words. I'm a grown up. I could take it or I wouldn't do what I'm doing here. So I appreciate you once again. Strange Talk with Doc is done every Monday. If you'd like to call in, reach out to me and we could chop it up. We could talk about something that you might have heard me discuss before and you want to hear more in depth conversation, but that's on you. The door is always open. I can give you the phone number that you can reach into, call into the show. And if you just want to sit back and relax and listen, that's fine by me too. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell you each and every time, people, peace to you and peace to yours.